Good afternoon. Please be seated. I ask that you bow your heads and remove your hats and join me in hearing these words of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we come humbly before you in need. Lord, I ask that this year you give us peace, love, and unity with one another. Grant us success as we pursue your wisdom and truth. Strengthen our hearts and our minds before you, O God. All this I pray in your Son's name, Jesus the Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Christian. Good afternoon and welcome. I am Dr. Andrea Milner, Vice President and Dean of Academic Affairs here at Adrian College. I would like to thank all of you for attending the opening convocation in the James Borland Convocation Series for the academic year 2019-2020. At this annual fall convocation, we have the honor of hearing from outstanding leaders from the academic, political, social, and business community. Our guest today is Dr. Thomas Brady, who is the founder and chairman emeritus of Plastic Technologies Incorporated. Today we also hear from the faculty and student body presidents, as well as meet new faculty, congratulate faculty newly promoted, and recognize the achievements of 3 faculty for their teaching, scholarly, and research accomplishments. This year, we will continue our annual Build a Bulldog contest to begin the academic year. You can see the submissions by students and staff just outside the chapel at the Build a Bulldog contest table. At this time, if everyone would silence their phones and put them away, and please remove your hats. I am pleased to introduce someone you all know well, Adrian College's 17th president, Dr. Jeffrey R. Dockey.
Well, thank you, Dr. Milner, and welcome to another academic year at Adrian College, and a special welcome to Dean Milner and the academic affairs staff, which does such a great job on behalf of our students and faculty. Of course, welcome to our distinguished faculty, staff, and mostly to our students. I also want to welcome Dr. Tom Brady, who Dean Milner will introduce more formally in a little while. 2 weeks ago, we welcomed 620 new students to Adrian College. That's a big number. It's an especially big number given that many people right now are questioning the value of higher education, and maybe more specifically, the value of a liberal arts education. And I will tell you, after checking with many of my presidential colleagues around the country to learn the size of their incoming class, we are way up. And so I have to ask myself, why are we seeing this continued level of success of 620 new students when so many other schools are struggling mightily? And I can come up with many reasons, but I want to illuminate just 3 through 3 very short stories that I think will make the point. The first story occurred 10 years ago, when somebody who had never been to Adrian College before woke up in Livonia, Michigan, and drove here, down Maumee Street, down Charles Street, for an interview. It's actually an interview over at the ice arena. And after 2 or 3 hours of interviewing, the person that was interviewing this person, who, as I said, had never been to Adrian College in their life, he was asked, would you like to take a little walk and tour of campus? So this person said, sure. So they walked out of the ice arena, they walked across the Maryland parking lot, they walked next to the chapel, and they got about halfway down to the end of the mall, and the person who was interviewing said, stop. He looked around and he said, wow, people here really care. And he was right. People here do care. Obviously, he was looking at the pink flowers and the green grass, but I think he was talking about more than that. He was talking about being in an environment, in the attractiveness of an environment in which he sensed that people who work here, people who've given their lives to this place, absolutely care about you students. And when you care, people want to be around you. I would suggest that's the first reason for our success this morning, and I would suggest, students, that if you find yourself in a career someday in which you don't care, get out of that career. When you care, great things will happen. The second short story has really occurred over the last 10 months of my life. I've been very intentional about going around the country and talking to leaders, many of whom are CEOs, to ask them what they are looking for in college graduates, what skills they want. When a college senior graduates and shows up in their company or to lead their church or their educational institution or whatever the case might be, what are they looking for? It's a pretty simple question. This is a true story. This is what they tell me they're looking for. First and foremost, they mention problem solvers, people who can discern answers from incomplete information and evidence. They want students that can work as a team. They want students who can write well. They want students with a sense of professionalism and with good EQ skills so that when they walk into a room, they are aware of what's going on around them. They want students who can do math, who can be articulate, who have empathy, and who can work with various ages, groups, and backgrounds. And what this boils down to, students, is what people are looking for in leaders are students who have received a classic liberal arts education. This is what you will gain here. People that are well-rounded. If you don't believe me, read the book Range by David Epstein, in which he says, it's called Range, Why Generalists Triumph in a Specialized World. And essentially the book says, excellence and well-roundedness go together, and they equal success. So your classes in the arts, in music, in history, in science, in technology, in math, in sports, and in writing all have a purpose: to make you well-rounded, to make you a liberally educated person, and to help you be successful. I will tell you firsthand, that's exactly what people want beyond this campus. The third story about why I think we continue to be successful and attract so many students is a collective story. And students, it's essentially your story, collectively. Never does a week go by, and rarely does a day go by, that I am not made aware of a student who has overcome extraordinary odds to be here or to stay here. Many of you have had great pain in your life. Many of you come from broken families. Many of you are working 2 to 3 jobs to make all of this work. I've had students tell me that they were sleeping in their car for a semester to try to save on room and board, just so they could continue to go to class. There's all kinds of things written about anxiety right now in college students. 40% of you are first generation. It's an amazing number. Very few colleges can say that 40% of their students are first generation students. And this is something to be very proud of. We are successful, students, because you believe in education. And notwithstanding what's being said out there about the value of higher education, you have proven that you believe in it. And I will tell you that every study you will read, every metric you will ever look at, will suggest that you will have a better life, a happier life. You will be healthier by having this experience throughout your life. You will live a life of consequence, of fulfillment, and of impact. And you will be a better citizen. I could give you many more reasons, but this is enough for today. So to the students, faculty, and staff, I thank all of you for caring so much. I thank all of you for believing in a liberal arts education. And students, I thank all of you for overcoming the challenges that you have had in your life to be here. You have much to be proud of. Thank you.
Thank you, President Docking. Next to welcome you is our faculty president, Professor Jill Alette.
Good afternoon. I am Professor Jill Alette, and on behalf of the faculty, it is my pleasure to welcome back all of our students, faculty, and staff for another amazing academic year. As today's convocation progresses, you will be introduced to several of our faculty who will be recognized for their outstanding accomplishments. These will take the form of promotion in rank, tenure, and 3 faculty awards acknowledging the recipients' teaching and research. As we celebrate this year's Ribbons of Excellence ribbon, Thinking Critically, these accomplished professors, in fact, all of our professors here at Adrian College, incorporate some form of thinking critically into our mindset and throughout our curriculum every day. I am so proud of the faculty before you and honored to be a part of them. When you see a professor on campus over the next few weeks, ask them, what did you do this summer? I guarantee you will be told about conferences in which they presented or attended, foreign lands to which they traveled for not only enjoyment, for research, or as a guest speaker. Many of us revised our courses to include state-of-the-art technologies and scientific research. Others wrote books, researched new trends in their fields, or connected with alumni for networking opportunities. Regardless of our specific interests, each of us contemplated on how we would bring to our classrooms the excitement that we experience when we learn something new. We teach the understanding and patience of the process of dissecting, analyzing, and synthesizing a new concept, idea, or approach to a problem. In the end, our hope is to help graduate students who can appreciate different views of our society, having learned to look beyond the surface and thinking critically and through the lens of a liberal arts education. The faculty is only one segment of Adrian College. Today we convene with everyone who makes up the Adrian College community. From the Board of Trustees to President Docking to the administrative staff who run the day-to-day operations of the college, to the plant staff and personnel, to our students both returning and new to the college. No segment of this body is more important than the other. Without one, we have none. Collectively, we have a community, a family, and an experience to last a lifetime. Finally, on behalf of the faculty, I would like to welcome our convocation speaker, Dr. Tom Brady. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Alette. Caitlin Dellinger, President of the Student Government Association, will now welcome the students and faculty back to campus.
Thank you, Dr. Milner. Welcome back, students, faculty, and staff. I hope that this academic year has started off strong for all of you. I want to share with you one of my favorite movie quotes from the children's film, Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. It goes, "Your life is an occasion, rise to it." I would like to think of this new academic year as an occasion, an opportunity to grow and to learn. I can guarantee this occasion will be filled with trials and obstacles, but also great achievements and successes. And in the end, I hope that you rise to the challenges and turn them into triumphs. Lastly, I would like to say a word to the class of 2020. Let us make our last year an occasion, one that is both purposeful and enjoyable, and let us rise to the futures ahead of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Caitlin. At this time in the proceedings, the new faculty, newly promoted, and tenured faculty are recognized. Adrian College continues to grow the faculty and invest in academic endeavors, adding over 50 positions in the past 10 years. This year, we welcome 4 new faculty members, resulting in over 100 faculty and librarians. As I introduce our new faculty, please hold your applause until all names have been read. And as I call your name, please stand and remain standing. Dr. Nathan Gordon, Spanish Department. Dr. Teresa Stowell, Core Department. Dr. Dawn Milner, Teacher Education. Professor Jessica Sword, Teacher Education. Please remain standing. It is now my pleasure to introduce faculty who have achieved one of the highest honors in the Academy, promotion and tenure. Faculty, please rise and remain standing as your name is called. Again, please hold your applause until all names are read. Faculty newly promoted to the rank of Associate Professor with tenure, Dr. Christy Mazzaros Winkles, Department of Communication, Arts and Sciences. Promoted to the rank of Full Professor with tenure is Professor Rene Collins, Department of English, Dr. Seth Knox, Department of Modern Languages and Cultures, Dr. Linda Learman, Department of English, Dr. Anissa Morganson-Lindsay, Department of Theater, Dr. Vanessa Morrison, Department of Teacher Education, and Dr. Heather Schuyler, Department of Exercise Science and Athletic Training. On behalf of President Docking, the administration, and the entire Adrian College community, congratulations on your promotions, and to our new faculty, welcome to the family. Thank you. Finally, I would like to welcome any retired faculty in the audience today to please stand. Prior to convocation, it was wonderful to see you all at the retired faculty reception sponsored by Alumni Affairs in my office. We are so thankful to each of you for your dedication to Adrian College and our students. Thank you so much. Now I will announce this year's Teaching Award recipients. The first award is the Ross Newsome Award for Outstanding Teaching, which honors the memory of Ross Newsome, class of 1936, and is sponsored by his son Don and the late Ron Newsome. This year's Ross Newsome Award for Outstanding Teaching is presented to Professor Rene Collins. Professor Rene Collins is an accomplished scholar and highly skilled teacher. Professor Collins joined Adrian College in 2007. She began her studies as an undergraduate at Siena Heights University, where she earned her Bachelor of Arts in English. She earned a Master of Arts in English Language and Literature from the University of Toledo, where she pursued her postgraduate study in education. Prior to coming to Adrian College, Professor Collins pursued a journalism career, including editor for Heritage newspapers and staff writer for the Daily Telegram. She has published more than 100 articles and columns appearing in publications such as the Daily Telegram, Lenawee Magazine, Pulse Magazine, the Detroit Legal News, and Faith Catholic. For these efforts, she received 2 Excellence in Media Awards from the Society of Professional Journalists, the Detroit chapter. In addition to teaching classes in journalism, communications, English, and core, Professor Collins has been an integral part in the formation of the journalism minor here at Adrian College. Along with working closely with journalism students, preparing them for their future professional career with various internships and independent individualized studies, she is working on a new publications activities course in order to give students more options in the journalism and wider publishing fields. Today, we recognize Professor Collins' excellent contributions to our campus community and to student learning by awarding her the Ross Newsome Award for Outstanding Teaching, because all of her excellent work has contributed to the quality of student learning. Please join me in congratulating Professor Rene Collins. The second award is the Exemplary Teaching Excellence Award, sponsored by the Division of Higher Education of the General Board of Higher Education and Ministry of the United Methodist Church. Celebrating the achievements of many, we now celebrate the achievement of the 2019 recipient. This year's Teaching Excellence Award goes to Dr. Elisabeth Maga from the Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry. Dr. Maga joined Adrian College in 2011 in the chemistry and biochemistry departments, which she currently chairs. Her studies, completed at Michigan State University, include a Bachelor of Science in Chemistry, having graduated magna cum laude from the Honors College, a Master of Science in Forensic Chemistry, and a PhD in Analytical Chemistry. After her doctoral work, she was a National Research Council postdoctoral associate with the Organic Chemical Metrology Group at the National Institute of Standards and Technology. Along with authoring 8 peer-reviewed publications and delivering over 10 public presentations, Dr. Maga has worked tirelessly as the director of the Ribbons of Excellence Committee. She has worked as a primary sponsor to the Alpha Chi Honor Society, as well as a science coach for the American Chemical Society. Finally, she has worked as a supervisor for our Science Olympiad, Region 9. Needless to say, Dr. Maga is committed not only to Adrian College students inside and outside her classroom, she's dedicated to developing science education throughout our local community. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Maga. In the spring of 2012, the Creative Activity, Research, and Scholarship Award was created to honor and recognize significant contributions to a faculty member's field of study. Awardees are celebrated for their work and the ways in which it embodies the college mission and our ribbons of excellence. This year's recipient is Dr. Andrew Winkles from the Department of Core. Dr. Winkles has been on faculty since 2015, where he has been an integral part in restructuring the first-year curriculum here at Adrian College. He also has served as the chair of the core department. Dr. Winkles began his studies in English literature, graduating summa cum laude from Spring Arbor University. After earning a Master of Arts in English Literature from Eastern Michigan University, he earned a PhD in English Literature from Wayne State University. Along with his book, 18th Century Women's Writing and the Evangelical Media Revolution, Consider the Lord as Ever-Present Reader, published in 2019, he has published numerous additional chapters and articles, co-edited the collection Women's Literary Networks and Romanticism, and has given over 20 conference presentations. Along with his hard work contributing to the development of the core curriculum at Adrian College, he has been part of the promotion of rigorous scholarly research with his expertise in 18th century literature and romanticism. Please join me in congratulating this year's recipient of the Creative Activity, Research, and Scholarship Award, Dr. Andrew Winkles. Congratulations to each and every one of you. I am pleased to introduce Dr. Thomas Brady as our guest speaker today. Dr. Brady is the founder and chairman emeritus of Plastic Technologies Incorporated, or PTI, along with 5 other companies. Founded in 1985, the PTI companies employ more than 200 people worldwide and are recognized for expertise in plastic packaging, plastic product and processes, technology development, plastics recycling, and specialty product manufacturing. Dr. Brady received his BA and MS degrees in engineering from Dartmouth College and a PhD in materials engineering from the University of Michigan. He was recognized as Entrepreneurial of the Year in 1989, as Manager of the Year in 1996, and was inducted in both the Society of Plastics Industry Hall of Fame and the Plastic Machine Manufacturers Institute Packaging Hall of Fame in 2012. PTI received the Small Business of the Year Award in 1995, the Northwest Ohio Partner in Progress Award in 2001, and the Employers Association President's Award in 2006. Tom and his wife Betsy were recognized jointly as Philanthropists of the Year in 2009 and have endowed many programs. Please welcome Dr. Tom Brady.
So I promised I wouldn't break from a script, but I'm going to immediately. One thing you may not have picked up on that was my first engineering degree was a Bachelor of Arts in Engineering, as your president talked about. And I think that was distinctive. I took religion, philosophy, history, humanities, all of those things. And I think probably came out as a little different kind of engineer than the average engineer. So I just want to reinforce what your president told you. Now, I only have a few minutes today, I was told, to speak to you about a really important topic, thinking critically. And because you students and the rest of the audience are engaged in the world of education, I want to talk a little bit about how education should be teaching you to think critically, perhaps even being a little critical of our educational system, but more with the goal of helping our education system get even better at making every student think more critically. So let me begin with a story about kids, because learning to think critically is not about taking a course when you come to college. Rather, thinking critically and creatively is something that we all should learn at a very early age, even before the age of 5. As I have learned as the Dean of Education, a child's brain is 90% formed. Doesn't mean you can't learn anything, but 90% formed by the time they are 5. So early brain development is all about how kids eventually grow up. And the story I want to tell you is really about my own grandkids. Just a few weeks ago, a little north of here, 3 of my grandkids, ages 5 to 10, came to me right as I was preparing dinner and said, "Grandpa, we want to eat on the raft." And of course, my normal parental thought was, no, that's too much trouble. You'll probably drop it in the water. But you know, I stopped and I thought, you know, kids today grow up in such a structured, programmed environment, they aren't really given the chance to try things. So I said, yeah, go ahead, figure it out. Well, you know what? They did. They got a big cardboard box. They put the hot dogs I was cooking in little cups, packed it all up, put it on a kayak, and swam out and had dinner on the raft. And of course, after dinner, I called their mom, my daughter, and I said, you know, Kathy, I think I've created a monster. I think these kids will always want to eat on the raft. And of course, next meal they did. But my point was that those kids had a chance to be creative and innovate on their own. Which brings me back to the world of education, and particularly to elementary education, where we spend most of the day stuffing our kids with information and then testing them for retention. Not that acquiring information is not an important fact, it is. But are we teaching our kids to think critically, what they will have to do when they're doing more than trying to figure out how to have dinner on a raft? We don't have time for me today to tell you or give you all the exercises that I go through when I'm talking about this subject, with other groups. But I want to just play something for you. I normally start by showing a slide that has 4 different geometric figures on it, and those geometric figures have curved sides or straight, thinking that we have to get, one right answer as opposed to exploring alternatives. We're not taught to examine the various possibilities, and one of the things I am preaching, because I'm allowed to do that since nobody can fire me anymore, in our elementary education system is how to incorporate some thought of critical creative thinking into our curriculum. So, but after I do that one exercise, I put up another slide that shows a 2-dimensional maze. You've seen those before. It's got an entry point A and an exit point B. And I asked the audience, okay, how do you describe to me how you will get from point A to point B? And of course, several start telling me how they'll go in a box, and if they find a barrier, they'll back up, and pretty soon they'll get from A to B. But after just one previous exercise of talking about thinking critically, I invariably get other answers. Like, I always get an answer about, well, why not go around the outside from A to B? Or what would happen if you drew a line from A to B? And then the last time I did this, one of the audience members said, what would happen if you folded over and touched point A to point B? And the point is, those are all right answers for the question I got. And after just one exercise, I find that most in the audience are beginning to break the rule that we all learned in kindergarten, which is to get the right answer. But my advice to you and the world of education is that we should begin teaching students to try various solutions. As a final thought, and again by way of being a little critical of our traditional educational system, in the digital world we live in today, with instant and comprehensive communication, we must begin to teach our students how to think critically about that information. When I went to school, and probably when most of you went to school, we all went with the idea that we would get information from the teachers, right? We didn't have many sources when I grew up. We had newspapers and maybe some books and whatever. But today, information from the internet is free, it's instant, and it's horizontal. But what we're learning today, in contrast to when we went to school, when you not only got all of the information from your teachers, you assumed it was all correct, right? It was accurate. But when you get information on the internet today, you can't be sure that it's correct and right. In fact, we're learning that much of it is intentionally wrong to mislead us. And yet, when I look at our education system, Adrian College excluded, we're still using the old lecture system to deliver information, right? When in fact, as I said, information is free. And what we ought to be doing is spending more time teaching our kids how to judge, verify information that they receive from the internet. So, coming full circle to the theme of this convocation, it's my hope that your generation will use the fact that digital age has forced us all to better evaluate, interpret, and judge and understand information, and that we will all, at a very early age, begin to make critical thinking more a part of our society, our education, and our day-to-day practices. Thanks for your attention on a day when I know you have a lot more fun things to do, but I hope to see you all at graduation and that you will have learned to better think critically. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Brady. We are so pleased that you were able to join us today. Thank you. Now for a few housekeeping notes. Students, do not forget to vote for your favorite entry in the Build a Bulldog contest out here at the table. Winners will be announced tomorrow via email and Twitter. Classes resume at 1:50 today, allowing for a break between convocation. Adjusted class times remain in effect until classes beginning at 5:30 start. Students, please sign the forms on your way out. If need be, tables are located between Herrick Chapel and Dawson Auditorium. We will now sing the Alma Mater, followed by the benediction, then the platform party and faculty will recess. Now will the audience please rise as Dr. Crispin Boggs Clark leads us in the singing of the Alma Mater inside your program.
Shrine of light and home of truth, over fate and trials victorious, crowned with eternal youth, boast of son and pride of daughter, loved by
You may remain standing, but I ask that you bow your heads and remove your hats and hear these words of benediction from the Apostle Paul. May the God of hope fill you with love, joy, and peace as you trust in him, so that you may overflow with hope by the power of the Holy Spirit. Amen.